Tinubu is not an APGA, but will collaborate with the ruling party.
P2B melo APGA. Why can't we adopt P2B?
It is rather the other way around. APGA melo P2B. Because it seems that it's a consistent effort to annihilate the party that made him. Today you are in party A, in the evening you are in party B, the next day you are in party C. Some persons have gone around 5 political parties. You're just an opportunist looking for a platform. Politicians don't believe in political parties. They just see parties as vehicle of opportunity. Finish. I'm not one of those that is so keen on Igbo president. What we need is healthy Southeast regional economic collaboration and development. In fact, if you look at the demographics, you see that we are highly disadvantaged as a people. Most times, the votes that come out of the 5 Southeast states may not be up to the votes that come out of Kano State alone. If an Igbo man is the president, the Hausa man will not believe that he's doing anything good. If a Yoruba man is president, the Igbo man will never believe that he's doing anything good because we reason along regional lines. Nigeria, we healthy, my own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. That's the highest point of that anthem. It is a constant reminder of what binds us together, that unity in diversity. A lawyer in active practice is not supposed to engage in any other business other than maybe farming. It's actually professional misconduct that can even lead to someone being derobed. There is this notion that lawyers in politics don't know anything in law, because most lawyers who are grounded, you can't have time to go and play politics.
Yes.
APGA was a product of a clarion call for emancipation of Ndi Igbo, to give them a voice in the polity of our nation. Today in APGA, we have 36 state chapters. We have the APGA Zamfara state chapter. We have the APGA Kaduna state chapter. We have a state chairman in Zamfara. Functioning. It must be national in outlook, even though it maintains that regional appeal. If God wants to make your life on earth hell, he will give you a wife.
You know there.
If God wants to make your life on earth heaven, he will still give you a wife. Mr. P2B, of course, is till tomorrow remains one of the persons we are grateful to for his time in APGA. If we call APGA Hall of Fame, I think you should be comfortably seated there.
Since you speak so well of this man, Tinubu, what is the economic impact of the national anthem that he actually...
I think it's a question of the value system. Have you listened to that national anthem?
Brotherhood is like we're in court.
Were you a cultist?
I'm the host.
I'm just asking.
Because I know
we're not talking about brotherhood.
Fraternity.
No. Fraternity is an English word. Not mind about the father. No, it's been bastardized.
It has connotations.
No, it does not.
Connotations.
It is bastardization. When you say fraternal, it's brotherly. When these bad boys now use it, the wrong connotation. Fraternity means that relationship that should exist between brothers, close relationship. And we have about 250 something ethnic groups in Nigeria. Say, though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. It is a clarion call for everybody to jettison, because the greatest challenge we have, if an Igbo man is the president, the Hausa man will not believe that he's doing anything good. If a Yoruba man is president, the Igbo man will never believe that he's doing anything good, because we reason along regional lines. We reason along ethnic lines. Governor Soludo will tell you that there is no outside way of good governance. Good governance is good governance. It affects everybody. Bad governance is bad governance. It affects everybody negatively. And so I love the fact, and I actually want the president to lead by example. The other day, I think IPAC, we broke fast with the president. I think it was about 2 weeks. And I love the passion. It was the first time I was seeing a president sing the national anthem with passion. I think it actually evokes some sort of nostalgia for the president.
Colonial
through the
nostalgia.
I don't think it's the colonial nostalgia.
Because Arise, O Compatriot is very...
No. This anthem highlights the challenges we have as a nation. The other one is more like a clarion call. This one reminds you. He said, Nigeria, we hail thee. Listen to the lyrics of that anthem. I wasn't there before it was changed, but I can tell you that it evokes strong emotion. Can I even tell you something? I got to know about that anthem when I was in secondary school. My father will never stop talking about it. That was the first time I said, Nigeria, we hail thee, my own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. That's the highest point of that anthem. It is a constant reminder of what binds us together, that unity in diversity. And that's what we need.
You people have adopted Tinubu as
We've not.
presidential, but you are planning to.
Maybe not.
What about our brother P2B? You said in the interview that P2B is not in APGA.
Yes.
Is Tinubu in APGA?
Tinubu is not in APGA, but will collaborate with the ruling party.
P2B melo APGA. Why can't we adopt P2B?
It is rather the other way around. APGA melo P2B. Why don't you ask that question that way? Because it seems that it's a consistent effort to annihilate the party that made him. But I don't really want to go into that question.
He handed over to an Afghan
There's definitely no doubt about that. And
candidate. So how is he
when you say
annihilating the party?
you know, go inu and Igbo na ato na Igbo mmadụ nu hakpo ye mmiri. The person you handed over did everything possible to remove him in 2017. So let's not go into that. Let me say this point. Mr. Peter Obi, of course, is till tomorrow remains one of the persons we are grateful to for his time in APGA. He was a pioneer governor on the platform of APGA. Tried as much as possible to stabilize the party, tried as much as possible to carry the message of the party, and did well by not decamping from the party
while he was incumbent.
Governor. Because if he had done that, maybe the party would have died. There's no doubt about it. And so he has his respect. If we call APGA Hall of Fame, I think he should be comfortably seated there. No doubt about it. But then the question is, part of the problem and the challenge that the party that made him, because it is the party that made him, that point must be made. The party that made him no longer served his interest. And then he chose another platform. Of course, I wish him well.
So after saying he will never leave.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that. People make certain commitments that they know they are not ready to keep. So I don't want to go into those issues. The fact remains that he's in another platform, and a platform that is not APGA. Fact. And a platform that has different ideology, professes different things from what we profess, and a platform that seems to be antagonistic to us. Very important that we make that point. And the moment that antagonism comes, then you cannot have that healthy collaboration with them again. It's not about him, it's about his platform. Simple. And I've expressed that I would really love to see the day that Peter will come back to APGA. When people ask the question, APGA has served him and he no longer has the need for APGA, I try to refer you to the current president. When Tinubu left office, just like Peter Obi, the only state being controlled then by Action Congress was only Lagos State. The president, or Tinubu, did not abandon his party to pursue his so-called national ambition. And so you mustn't necessarily need to leave your party, because when you leave your party, it means you never believed in their ideology. You are just an opportunist who sees this party as a vehicle to ascend to power. Membership of political parties should be ideologically driven. It's unimaginable today that you go to America and you see Barack Obama leave Democratic Party and join the Republicans. Is it possible? But here, I have no ideology. And you see a man, today you are in party A, in the evening you are in party B, the next day you are in party C. Some persons have gone around 5 political parties. It means you never believed at all. You're just an opportunist looking for a platform. That's the problem with politicians of today.
Why does APGA look like a party where people use and dump? You know, we have the case of Abaribe trying to do that. We have the case of Rochas. You know what I'm talking about.
There is no way I can answer that question. You ask the people that dump the party why they do that. Like I said, the problem is a Nigerian problem. It's not an APGA problem. Politicians don't believe in political parties. They just see parties as vehicle of opportunity. Finish.
To the top as a very young man, giving us the hope that young men actually can do this. Can do the fate of the young person in this country. Some of us are not interested in what would actually take us to the top. Our young people now don't believe that they can become Sly Ezeokenwa tomorrow. Can you young people, or do you think that your own, just like you say, is just grace?
No. I'll tell you one truth. The problem is multifaceted. It is a product of so many reasons. For me, it is for the society. The society must strive to address the societal challenges, and that's why Ndi Anambra must be eternally grateful to our governor for taking the bull by the horn. You know, when he started this fight, people called him all manner of names. Some said he was petty. I was one of those that stood strongly in support of him, because I can tell you that I'm a Soludo apostle, no doubt about it. I'm a young person who feels, growing up, one of my mentors in life, even from afar, even though I never really met him, was Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo. I was a child who was very interested in reading, especially following current affairs, politics and everything. Soludo was one of those that we saw as the star boy of the Obasanjo administration, no doubt about it. Now, because he is our mentor, somehow I was one of those that read the People's Manifesto, the Soludo Solution, the manifesto with which he ran an election in 2021. If you look at that manifesto critically, you will see that there is a conscious effort to implement everything contained in that manifesto. One of them is what we call 5 pillars: security, law and order, economic transformation, human capital agenda, governance, and value system. Because people just think, maybe Soludo just woke up and started chasing
native doctors or
No. It is the 4th pillar of this administration: governance and value system.
Anafu ịchọrọ igo ejukwala ese. Anafu ịchọrọ igo imekwala investigation. Bịa na Pine Leaf Estate and Properties. Anya adịela ana na-ese okwu. Anya adịela ana na-eje court.
Governance simply means that the government of the day must be very firm about the implementation of the rule of law. And the rule of law, for us lawyers, as expounded in the 18th century, simply means that the law is the ultimate controller of human conduct. And so everybody must be equal before the law. So you will see the intentionality. It's not that you see, oh, this man is a billionaire, so there should be separate consideration for him because he's a billionaire. And then this man is a keke driver. There should be separate consideration for him because he's a keke driver. No. So when you talk about governance under Soludo's fourth pillar and values, you see governance that tries as much as possible to elevate and build strong institutions that takes care of everybody. So everybody becomes equal before the law. Then the value system. Every nation in the world is a reflection of its timeless values. I can show me a nation without value. I can tell you that a nation that is in catastrophe. And that was the problem. It became a problem for young people, not just in Anambra but in Nigeria. But we are now solving the problem. It is that value system that made the young man see that, oh, I see this man driving a Bentley. I see this man throwing cash up and down. I see this man showing what I call obscene display of wealth. And he just wants to be like this man. And simple. He doesn't care. That's why in advanced countries, you as a popular person, the country tends to give you greater moral responsibility in shaping the society. So if Yambaba, if you do anything, the way the system will treat you is not the same way they will treat a keke driver because of the influence you command. That's why when you see these footballers and you hear sexual allegations against them, the way they treat them like murderers because by virtue of their career, their profession, they tend to exert so much influence on so many people. That value system simply means that you must reconnect to those timeless and ageless values that Ndi Igbo and Nigerians are known for, the values of enterprise, values of hard work, values of disciplines, the values of morality. Let me just use morality to just summarize all of it. And so it was discovered because it's like a vicious cycle. There is a connection, that there is a man who is there promising that if I do so and so dangerous charm for you, you can actually go and kidnap someone and nobody, you will not be captured. And so he emboldens that criminal. Part of the problem we saw why the insecurity issues festered in the southeast was that there were so many young people who were into genuine trade, eking out a living, and felt, oh, in a month, I'm a vulcanizer, for example. I struggle to make maybe 50,000 naira in a month. Now, a big man comes in. I just take my phone and place a call to those guys in the forest. I say, this man is back. Just for making that call.
Informant.
Just for making that call, they may pay you as much as 3 million.
Clean.
How do you think that man will go back to that vulcanizing work? That's the problem.
Just for call.
Just for call. And the question is what? Because if you want to catch criminals, first thing, if you want to address crime, you go to the root of the crime. Ndị Igbo sị na achọba isi ọchụ eje n'ụzụ. Inu Igbo. Because na egbulu mmadụ. Ọchụ abụgodikodo onye kpụrụ igwe eji wee gbu mmadụ. You don't just address the criminal. You must address the source of the weapon. Like ndị Igbo ji sị na achọba isi ọchụ eje n'ụzụ. So the governor felt that, oh, we have these dangerous native doctors who actually give these guys this confidence that they can actually go and perpetuate this criminality and go scot-free. And if you've noticed, people are now understanding there is a connection between the clamp down of these dangerous native doctors and the drastic reduction in crime. And you asked a question about what can we do, young people. The fact remains that the government of the day, I can tell you equally, had part of the blame. Past government. Because what do you expect? Someone goes to school, finishes schools, goes to university, comes out, he doesn't have any meaningful thing to do.
Nothing to engage in.
Yeah, and that's why today we have the 1U2 skill. And we have other vocational skill acquisition centers and other vocational programs that the present administration of Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo has instituted in Anambra and has meaningfully engaged our youth.
Sly, a side of you that a lot of us may not know now. You're a lawyer.
Yes, I'm a lawyer.
You practice law.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about life as a lawyer in Nigeria. On a deka onye obuna bụ a lawyer and want a backup something on a before you become really big. Ofialare for lawyer bụ so lawyer. Une backup plan. Uke onye abro lawyer. Ifka na onye na emeka real estate.
Okay.
Elemoto.
There are so many things we see in the society. We think it is normal, but it's not normal. It's not supposed to be. Under the rules of professional conduct, if you are a practicing lawyer, a lawyer in active practice is not supposed to engage in any other business other than maybe farming. farming. You can just maybe be a silent partner or a silent director in a company, but not to run the company. So it is wrong for a lawyer in active practice to engage in any other business. It's actually professional misconduct that can even lead to someone being derobed. But many people don't know. So as a lawyer, I concentrated. The only thing I did was practice. And it was torturous for me at the beginning. But the truth, just like every other discipline, consistency, discipline, and hard work pays ultimately. And for me, it was more difficult for me as a young lawyer because the pressure came from my parents. Upon finishing school and service, came back, they said, "Oh, an only son, you have to get married." I think I got married at 26. Got married, of course, the most wonderful woman anybody can talk of, because she was very, very supportive and she understood. Why do I say it was difficult? Because when you see the glory, you won't see the pains. At the point I was asked to marry, I had nothing. I wedded living in my father's flat, not his house. The responsibility came on time. Immediately we got married, just about a year, we had to, of course, find a place to live. Kitchen, work. The children came along. So one of the time for any party, as a young man, you fend for yourself, you fend for your wife, you fend for your children, do everything, take care of the home and everything. So it was frustrating at the beginning. But God so kind. One of the earliest things I did, of course, the law firm I worked in, my boss is late Ezeokenwa ACN. One of the things, advantage I had was when you work in a big law firm, it comes with its own advantages. And yes, you may not make money at the first instance, but you make contact because your boss ordinarily represents most of the influential clients. So when they see that you're dutiful, why, yes, they know they are paying the boss, but they can tip you, especially when you're diligent. My first exposure in real practice after I came back was when we had the 2010 election that Peter Obi, of course, Professor Soludo was the candidate of PDP, Chris Ngige was the candidate of I think Action Congress, ACN. So we were in the tribunal then defending the mandate of APGA and Peter Obi. So that was the first major experience, and then that was what probably the exposure. That was what made us more or less grounded in election and election related cases. And then we followed that trajectory. So after about 4 years, seeing the contributions we've done in the party, because while we are doing those cases, so while we are doing these cases, I didn't forget that my father, because in the firm, we represented every political party. PDP, Action, depending on who
comes for representation.
I had that passion for APGA. So I will always go and do the APGA cases and leave the cases of other political parties. I was more interested. So seeing the number of cases I had done for APGA, naturally it came that in 2015 when we had the transition to the government of Chief Victor Oye, I was invited, because it was more or less an invitation to come and become the state legal advisor of APGA.
Every election victory begins with a good media projection and visibility. For this reason, BAM Interview has created this campaign space for all our political candidates to reach out to Ndibo and convincingly tell them why their votes should be in your favor. Hurry now, contact the numbers on your screen today. Let's take you a step closer to your victory.
We continued. For the first time, they saw that, a lawyer, because most times there is this notion that lawyers in politics don't know anything in law. Because most lawyers who are grounded, you can't have time to go and play politics.
Yes.
Law is a very demanding profession.
Yes.
Because you go to court in the morning, the court starts by 9 a.m. As a young lawyer, you may do your matter by 2:30. You get back to the chambers to begin to prepare processes that you are filing or matters you're going to do the following day. So it's a very rigorous profession. And so most lawyers don't want to practice have lawyers that go to court. And so for them, it was something very novel.
Different.
Somebody, a lawyer. And he was doing cases of the party. So they didn't need to pay lawyers outside to come and do the cases. So naturally, they welcomed me. And in 4 years, I was promoted to the National Legal Advisor.
You are among the legal that actually represented Peter Obi?
Yes, I was in the team.
That means...
Not that I was one of the junior lawyers.
You worked with Onyechi Bazo?
No, I worked with Ezeokenwa ACN. But Ezeokenwa ACN late and Onyechi Bazo, they were all in the team together.
APGA or party ndị Igbo kefe eji akpọrọ APGA party ndị Igbo, and then anọgide asị no onye agha na nwanne ya. APGA or party ndị Igbo to start with? Go ahead.
I will answer that question. I will say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if you go to the history of the party, remember, that was one of the first points I made when I started. APGA was a product of a clarion call for emancipation of Ndi Igbo, to give them a voice in the polity of our nation. 2002-2003, under the administration of then President Olusegun Obasanjo, some persons felt that we didn't really have a say. This fact has equally been made to me by very critical stakeholders in our politics, including bishops. For them, they say the apex of the whole thing was the late Ezeokenwa administration, where it seemed as if whatever we did here, people would just go to Abuja and decide. So it was as if Abuja was deciding who would be the governor or senator or House of Rest member or House of Assembly member in Anambra. And so some persons felt that that was an unacceptable situation, because ascension to public office should be through popular election and not through nomination or appointment by the power brokers in Abuja. And so they said, okay, you know what? Why don't we form a political party that we can call our own, whose leadership are our people, through the instrumentality of which we can get our people into office, more like taking our destiny into our hands. That was how the then national chairman, Chief Chekwas Okorie, and other Igbo people came together. Remember I told you they wanted to form the old APGA,
yes,
United Progressive Grand Alliance. INEC refused, they now formed APGA. They changed United to All. And so to that extent, you can say yes, APGA is an Igbo party, because that was the original intention of the founding fathers of the party, to make it a voice for the Igbo. And that's how the motto came about, be your brothers and sisters keeper. That's direct translation. But ordinarily, it is Onyaga na Nwanne, leave no one behind. Gidi gidi bu gweze. But along the line, remember, a political party must be national in character. It can't be regional. Ideologically, you may be driven by regional consideration, but you must have a national outlook. You must have a national headquarters, and you must have offices in all the states. Today in APGA, we have 36 state chapters. We have the APGA Zamfara state chapter. We have the APGA Kaduna state chapter. We have a state chairman in Zamfara. Functioning. I just finished a meeting with them just last Thursday in Abuja. It must be national in outlook. Even though it maintains that regional appeal, it must be national in outlook.
Anime take here as events took place. 2023. Was Emeka Njoko a chairman of APGA National at a time?
No, we've gone past that stage. It was never, and the Supreme Court has confirmed that. It's simple. I don't want to go into the whole history, the journey to bring in Kuru and all whatnot. The fact remains, some persons claim that part of the reason why he started laying claim was as a result of what happened in 2019 in Imo, because he's from Imo State. And I know that then he was actively supporting one of the aspirants. Some people claim that the leadership crisis we had then was orchestrated, artificially created as a means of getting back at the leadership of the party for what happened in Imo. Like I said, all these things are allegations. I wasn't in Imo. I'm not a member of Imo chapter of the party. I wasn't in Imo during that period. I don't know anything that happened. That's the simple thing. So at the end of the whole shenanigans, the whole impasse, the Supreme Court has affirmed me as the duly elected and has stated carefully that Ezeokenwa Njoko was never national chairman. Let me shock you. Are you aware that barely 1 month after this decision by the Supreme Court, he ran into another political party and started laying claim to the national chairmanship?
When did he now become a member? When he was still trying to fight for APGA?
That's in fact, everything. The national chairman of that party, incidentally, is my friend Prince Chinedu Obi, who is equally from Imo State. Every process he's filed in that matter is the processes he got from APGA, to show that this man, as at 26th of November, was claiming to be the national chairman of APGA. 27th of November, Supreme Court delivered judgment, and by middle of December, he's not claiming to be the national chairman of NRM. That tells you the character of the person you're talking about. As I don't want to necessarily one of the criteria is national chairman of the party, or he has 2 years to live. You know, for me, the truth is, I don't know what the problem, but I think it speaks more about the character of the man in question. But I don't want to go into that.
I want to make healthy living a culture in our society. The time to make exercise, sweat. That sweat is very important. Ibana garden, bela nisieni, very natural food. Or if your body need it, just nyobana day to chukusike.
Are you saying for a fact that Ifeanyi Ararume, as a candidate of Imo State gubernatorial election, was produced on the basis of highest bidder and not credibility?
I don't know how he emerged. I wasn't in Imo. I never went to Imo in that 2019. I can't say what I don't know.
I wish you guys luck when it comes to Imo State.
Absolutely,
because
I know.
We all remembered what APGA did for Rochas. Strongly, Ndimo spoke with one voice.
Absolutely. One day we will go to them and preach to them that we can replicate, because everything depends on the character of the candidates that you have. So many persons who have vindicated interest, they want to vie for Imo governorship, are looking for someone with character.
The character can carry
Very important.
the weight of the ticket.
Because we need someone that if he goes there, he implements the ideology of APGA in the interest of Ndimo.
Not just a vehicle to get
Absolutely.
there,
Not just a vehicle.
to get to power.
Absolutely.
And then before you know it, they defect.
That's the problem.
Now let me put it to you. What do you think we're doing wrongly as Igbo politically that we need to at least do something different?
We need to play politics of strategic positioning. Let me put it in simple terms. You do not put all your eggs in one basket. I will make an allusion, more like a rhetorical question. Are you aware that in 2019, Buhari was a northerner? When he was seeking for a re-election, if there is a socio-political or socio-cultural group that unites all northerners, it is Arewa Consultative Forum. You've heard of it. Are you aware that Arewa never endorsed Buhari in 2019? That's what we call politics of strategic positioning. Because the moment you endorse a person, it means that you've sold off your brothers in the other political parties. What most intelligent people do is simple. Use the campaign period as an opportunity for engagement, as an opportunity to bargain. So today, let's imagine that we have 3 major candidates. What Ndebo should do is simple. Give everybody a fair opportunity. Very fair opportunity. Invite the incumbent. We've seen your manifesto. You're seeking for re-election. The Southeast, we didn't really get what we expected. We noticed that we're not accommodated in the railway project. What will you do for us if we support you? Or what will you do for us if you are re-elected? You extract commitment. He said, okay, we'll see what we'll do. We're not going to be against you. We are going to, of course, let people campaign freely. If you succeed, we wish you all the best. Let the best candidate win. The man from the north comes, you sit him down, extract similar promise and commitment from him. Your brother comes, you do the same thing. Because the way Nigeria is composed, there is no nation or any region that can make a president.
Solely.
You cannot. In fact, if you look at the demographics, you see that we are highly disadvantaged as a people. Most times, the votes that come out of the 5 Southeast states may not be up to the votes that come out of maybe Kano State alone. I'm sorry to say this on this platform. I'm not one of those that is so keen on Igbo presidents. I'll tell you why. What we need is healthy Southeast regional economic collaboration and development in such a way that the 5 Southeast states, the governors will come together, bond together, and find a way to accelerate development, investment, and opportunities in the Southeast. You just told me you are from Aba. Are you aware that in the past, how many years, from 2007 to now is about 19 years, Katsina State has produced 2 presidents within that period. President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and President Muhammadu Buhari. Can I ask you a question? Can you compare the life of an average man in Katsina to the life of the average man in Anambra State?
Never.
Who is better?
Anambra State.
Have we produced a president?
No.
That answers your question. Presidency is an elitist game. It is for the elites. He and his cronies.
Wala anyị kedu onye bụ Sly Ezeokenwa?
Ima ajụjụ a isika. Let us attempt an answer. Sly was a young man who was born and brought up in Onitsha.
Otu.
Not very important for us to make that point. I remember this passage in the Bible and I say, can anything good come out of
Nazareth?
Those days, the name Fege was synonymous with very uncultured and unmannered set of people. That was the place where I was born. Ebanwakango Primary School. And that's why Anambra today because I go public primary school. The name of the school actually is Niger City Primary School. First of all, a guy from the man school and a guy. Man, for me, my mother then was a teacher. So it was like I had a nomadic education. And I got school over and them so the school. She was in Agai Primary School when I was in primary 1 to primary 3. When go say primary 3, I transferred to Niger City. Look here, Niger City. Go from primary 4 to primary 6. Public primary school, but the end thing then proceeded to Christ the King College, GKC Onitsha. Before we now proceeded to University of Nigeria. Yes, Inter Paris, where I studied law and then ultimately in the law school. In a nutshell, Iji Kobonyev Sly is just a young man who comes from a very humble background. That's one thing I don't fail to state. From a very, very humble background. My mom was a primary school teacher, my dad a businessman. The connection to APGA, Bona, my father was one of the foundation members of APGA upon formation because he was a pioneer local government party chairman on Onitsha South. And so it's as good as this is the first and only political party I've ever been a member of. I was in the university when when APGA was registered as a political party. And then as a young man, Papiabo, local government party chairman. The beautiful thing then, when APGA was a product of passion. And I really love, because part of what we are trying to create, not the possible, can the banye de kwa passionate or to hade. Because in anyị ichete, mgbe Nnamdi Azikiwe no, there was one party, ndị Igbo ji chịkọta onwe ha mgbe anwa. Ihe akpọrọ ya bụ OPGA. But enwe ndị ka na-akpọ OPGA, the United Progressives Grand Alliance. The same symbol APGA nwe today ka o nwere. Chi ndị Igbo efugo. Mgbe anyị register APGA, even the founding fathers so chọrọ register kwa bụ OPGA anwa. So they try to register that United Progressives Grand Alliance. Ndị anyị na-ekejo. Eweche wepụzie United, tinyezie All Progressives Grand Alliance. But the symbol ọkụkọ, ife ọkụkọ anwa gosi bụ na chi ndị Igbo efugo. Maka ọ bụrụ na ị na-anya ichete mgbe afọ APGA, it was a product of marginalization. I believe na anyị bụ ndị Igbo enwere ebe anyị so n'ihe a na-eme. I say na anyị need a platform anyị ga-eji wee na-articulate our voice. That was the major reason why APGA was formed and registered as a political party. The rest is history.
As onye know why Noge, would you actually, with your experience,
yes,
do you actually subscribe for early marriage as a man? In Asinwoke, no one Noge ko get chelo, mbo basi yike. With your experience, frustrations, lessons, and blessings.
It is a very difficult question. Very difficult question to answer. But I'll tell you one thing. Whether me nolu noge, me nolu netiti, me nolu old, your choice of partner is one of the greatest choice, if not the greatest choice you will ever make in life.
Choice of partner.
Yes. If God wants to make your life on earth hell, he will give you a wife.
You know there.
If God wants to make your life on earth heaven, he will still give you a wife. And so whether
early, you will start it early. The blessing will come early, the hell will come early. So
because the stability I achieved was because of my wife, who for 1 second, I don't know how I got that lucky. When you say for 1 day, for 1 second, there was no pressure. Because even a book no pressure. Pressure of whom? When your man, we have a cup of rice. Okay, how do we manage this cup of rice? Hey, no. How was your day? You know, those kind of things. And then even if you don't come back, because he knows you're out there trying to fend for the family. And then the words of encouragement, the prayers and everything. So that's why I said, when God wants to make your life on earth, heaven, gives you a wife. When he wants to still make your life on earth, heaven, still gives you a wife. So the choice, that's the greatest choice you can make in life, is the choice of, it can derail your trajectory and it can further propel you to your destiny far earlier than expected.
Good news. From anywhere you are in the world, you can now be our guest on BAM. As long as you have an internet connection and a mobile device, you can now be interviewed from our studio anywhere in the world. Contact the numbers on your screen to book a session with us.